Which should you buy? Good morning, YouTube. What's up, guys? I hope you're safe and healthy and happy and doing okay. So this video is sort of the same deal as the New Balance 1080 V11 video was. That was kind of like a first run impressions video, but also sort of a which should you buy video, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. Today's video is mostly going to be about the Asics Glideride 2 and if you should wait around for it and buy it at full price, or if you should just get the Glideride 1 now at a likely discounted price.
I feel better on the weekend. Give my life a better meaning. Let me stay where I'm in phase. I feel better on the weekend. I feel better on the weekend. Give my life a better meaning. Let me stay where I'm in phase. I feel better on the
Asics Glideride came at a time where Asics shoes were kind of falling to the wayside in terms of innovation and just interesting product, to be quite honest. But this was certainly interesting. This was definitely out of the box for Asics, and a lot of people really liked this shoe, and I was included. I did actually enjoy running in it. But now, as you can see, the Glideride 2 is about to hit the market. So today we're going to talk mostly about the 2. We'll talk about the upper, the midsole, the outsole, and then we'll compare it to the 1, and I'll tell you which I would buy, and maybe that'll help you determine which you should buy. And one more thing before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that the Asics Glideride 2 and the 1 were sent to me by Asics. However, they are not telling me what to say. They're not going to see this before you, and all of my opinions are made in my very large, super advanced brain. The Asics Glideride 2 is 8.1 ounces for a women's size 7, but for my size 10.5 women's, the shoe came in at 10.3 ounces. And it's interesting because the Asics Glideride 1 here on Asics website, it says it's 8.1 ounces for a women's size 7. But when I weighed my size shoe, it was 10.1 ounces. So, I mean, they're very similar, but maybe this is just a little bit lighter. I don't know. Could really go either way. Both the Glideride 1 and the Glideride 2 have a 5mm drop, and the Glideride 2, according to Asics spec sheet, has 25mm of stack in the heel and 20 in the forefoot. And good news, both the Glideride 1 and the Glideride 2 are true to size. The upper of the Asics Glideride 2 is an engineered mesh. Asics is saying that this material will do a better job of adjusting to the shape of your foot. In the midfoot, we do have the Asics logo to provide some structure. And going to the back of the heel counter is very sturdy for that support. I do definitely find that this material in the 2 is a lot softer and more forgiving than the 1. I definitely like how they have streamlined this and just used a better quality material, honestly. Another thing I definitely think that's different between the 1 and the 2 is that the 2 has a little bit more room in that toe box and just more space in general in this forefoot area. And I have a narrow foot, but I still was able to appreciate just a little bit more room there. The tongue is not gusseted on either of the shoes, though I wish it was, because I think this shoe would only further benefit from that. And another thing that I also realized while I was out on my run is that this shoe, the 2, is a lot more breathable than the first one as well. I didn't have any issues with hot spots, irritation, blisters, nothing of the sort, which is always a huge plus. So honestly, if we just bring it on in this first Glideride right here, if I had to pick one of the uppers here, I'm absolutely going with the 2, hands down, really no questions asked. I think they just improved upon the first version and kept it similar, but also just made it better. All right, moving down to the midsole of the Glideride 2, Asics is using their standard flight foam here. It's nothing fancy, just their traditional standard flight foam. And I'm not too sure if there's gel here. I know there was some gel in the Glideride 1, but it doesn't say so on the spec sheet for the 2. If you know if there's gel in here, comment down below. I'm curious. And then, of course, paired with this flight foam, you have Asics' signature rocker technology called Guidesole. Guidesole is a rocker technology that really gets you up on your toes. You can see here it curves upward pretty drastically. And there's also a plate in this shoe, not a carbon plate, but a plate sort of embedded into the outsole almost that helps to keep the rigidity of this forefoot and just spring you forward on your toes. In the first version of the Glideride, I felt like my foot was kind of fighting the shoe at first to work with that Guidesole technology. It just wasn't used to it. But with time, we sort of figured it out, and it ended up being a fairly enjoyable ride. That's the same case here. The first few steps of this shoe, maybe like the first half mile or so, feel a little unnatural and kind of weird. But I did eventually get into a rhythm with it, and I was able to run quite a few miles. I have about, how many miles do I have in this shoe? I think I have maybe 12, 10 or 12. I think in the 2 though, that Guidesole technology feels smoother, and it also feels a lot more stable. I ran 5 miles the other day in this shoe, and then for filming purposes and just to get a feel for remembering what the first Glideride was like, I ran a mile in the Glideride 1. I have to say that the 2 does feel a lot more stable and, like I said, smoother underfoot. While I am still pronating a bit in the Glideride 2, I was pronating even more in the Glideride 1. I mean, it was crazy. As far as the flight foam goes, if you've tried flight foam, you know how this shoe feels. It's pretty standard. It's not exactly soft. It's not exactly firm. It gives you just enough protection to get those long miles done. And yeah, it's fine. It's fine foam. Like flight foam, but fine foam. Get it? No. And I like the ride of this shoe. I think it's probably best suited for longer mileage, your daily training miles, your long, slow distance. I think that's where this shoe is going to fit into a lot of people's rotations. I definitely wouldn't take this out on a tempo run, although the Guidesole technology might help you in that area, but I think that's kind of like where the Evo ride comes in. So which midsole do I like better, the 2 or the 1? Without a doubt, hands down, it is the 2. I like it a hell of a lot better. I think it's more stable. I think it's a little bit softer. Maybe is a bit more efficient, natural feeling. This was good at the time, but now that I have the 2, I really see how much it needed to be improved. And I think they did that with the 2. So we're going with the second version here. Moving on to the outsole of the Asics Glideride 2, we're using AHAR plus rubber, which is a very durable rubber and has great traction. Asics has also drastically changed the pattern of the outsole. I'll have them side by side here so you can see. I'm really happy that they changed the outsole of the shoe because one of my biggest problems with the Glideride 1 was that the pattern on the outsole was just too smooth. So on wetter days, I was slipping a little bit, and nobody likes to slip while they're running. While I didn't take this on a wet day, I did feel like I had much better grip here, much better traction, and just felt more confident on where I was stepping on the road. I think what makes a really big difference here is that the traction pattern on the outsole has some texture. It's not smooth like the previous version, so that just gives it better grip in general. So when it comes to the outsoles, I'm picking the 2 again. You can kind of see where this is going. The Asics Glideride 2 will be available in February for $150. And the Asics Glideride 1 is $150 still on runningwarehouse.com, but on Asics website, I believe it's like $119 or something like that. So you can find it discounted. And that brings me to my final decision of which should you buy. And honestly, I'd wait for the 2 and get the 2. It's not that the 1 is a bad shoe. It's quite a good shoe, but I think that they really improved upon the things that needed to be improved upon in the 2, which is exactly what a second version of a shoe should be. Now, if you like the 1 and you don't want to fix what ain't broke, then get this for a discount. Knock yourself out. I totally understand. But I think for those who are interested in trying out a Glideride shoe from Asics, your best bet would be to just wait a month. Actually, no, February's coming. February's almost here. My God, I don't even know what day it is anymore. Basically, wait for the 2. I think it's well worth it. I don't believe the Glideride 2 is available yet on runningwarehouse.com. The Glideride 1 is, so I'll link that down below, and I'll link this once it becomes available. But keep in mind, if you're interested in going to these links and picking up either of these shoes, that they are affiliate links with Running Warehouse. However, that doesn't mean much for you. It just helps out my channel so I can compare these shoes and tell you which you should get. You should get the 2. So I like this shoe. It's not my favorite shoe I've ever tried. I will continue to run in it, but I do think that if you're interested in a guide sole technology shoe or just trying out the Glideride in general, that the Glideride 2 is the one to get. If you don't like super soft, pillowy, marshmallowy shoes and you want something for a longer day that's just gonna help you get up on your toes and just set it on cruise control and go, then I think this is a good option. All right, well, that concludes my video of which should you buy, the Asics Glideride 2 or the Asics Glideride 1. If you enjoyed this video, please like it down below and subscribe. And when you're done with all that, hit that notifications bell down below so you can find out every time I upload a new video. Now, maybe if we could just put like this colorway on this shoe, I don't know. I have some more videos for you guys next week, but in the meantime, get out there, get on the grind, and don't forget to run like heller. See you next time. I'm not sure you can see her, but my fiance is sitting right here. Why don't you wave to the camera? Okay, I'm not sure, yeah, again, if you can see her on camera, but she's laying down because she got her second vaccination yesterday. So she is inoculated up and resting on the couch. So if you see somebody laying there, don't worry, she's okay.